Something that we actually talked about last week on our 2025 wish list was the ability to report online. And this is a topic that actually came up over on Twitter this week. Rahul tweeted out a picture, quote tweet here of from Cash. Share the screen real quick. Tweeting about people being able to report their matches on their phones. This is a tournament that's happening in what is it, Malaysia, right?
I think so, yeah.
And Rahul posted that this is something that needs to be adopted in the West. TPC is very large tournaments that flow well because they avoid match slip issues. Other large card games also use app based reporting, and the issues get limited and can be identified fast. And the interesting thing here is a reply from Dana, who, if we read Dana's bio here, is one of the co-founders and chief ops admins of Arcanine, someone who Azul and I both know. Uh, and she said, "We can do this already. In fact, it was just used this past weekend for the Winter Online Professor Cup and has been used for other publishers' games, both online and in person."
The question is just why is TPC it has to come from TPCI then, is the only reason that Pokemon's not doing it. Because I don't think I mean, yeah, it just has to be TPCI saying, "No, not yet," for whatever reason. If you go to, like, Rahul's tweet, there was some people bringing up some concerns with the idea of reporting pairings online. None of them are real they're not real concerns, but they're not actually, like, concerns. Like, they do this in basically every other card game, or a lot of them. They've been doing this over in Japan and China consistently. The one that keep people bring up is, what if I don't have service? Well, judges should still be able to report matches, and there probably will be a place at the hive
I
to go report matches.
I don't
Um,
understand the service. Like, I mean, I guess, I mean, a lot of people say it, so people have this problem. But in the dozens of tournaments I've been to since 2022, I cannot once in all of the tournaments remember a time that I couldn't using just my regular network. Like, I'm not connected to Wi-Fi. They have
yeah, it
Wi-Fi
definitely is.
backstage, but I am never connected to it because generally it's slower than just using my network, using my phone.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those, like, I'm sure some people out there with some service providers do not have service, but it's definitely one of those, like, fake arguments where it's just, like, kind of like bringing up a counterpoint for the sake of bringing up a counterpoint, but there obviously would be other ways to report your matches. The other, uh, ghost argument, it's like people out here boxing ghosts that people like to bring up is, well, what if your opponent just says they won? What if your opponent currently just says they win? What if you and your opponent both pick up your cards and you haven't signed the slip yet and your opponent goes and circles win if you won? Then it's gonna become just like in this situation, a he said, she said situation, which can be remedied by simply reporting the game before you pick up your cards. All you have to do is not pick up your cards. All you have to do is potentially have people around you interject and be like, no, I saw this person win or I saw that person win, right? And that as a problem currently exists of just like, what if the other person just says they won? Like that is currently a problem if
Yeah,
it needs
someone
to
could
be.
do that.
Yeah, but it's like it's not actually a real problem. I'm sure it's happened before. I'm sure it will happen. I'm sure if we go to online reporting, it would happen, but it's not like an actual real problem. It's just like, yeah, technically that could happen,
Yeah.
but it's like
I
not
think
something that should stop us from ever even considering this. It's like not a real reason to
this
not consider
This is
online
probably
reporting.
just true in life in general. But if you are too scared about the bumps in the road that come with
Well,
improving and
yeah.
making progress, you are just always going to be behind, right?
Yeah. Everyone, if you disagree, I don't know where you are at with your thought process, but everyone agrees this would be an improvement to be able to report our pairings on our phones. It would be an improvement, it'd be an upgrade. If we lived like theoretically in an ideal world where no one would like be malicious, there will be malicious actors, but even if that exists, it just doesn't
There's
matter. It's just
malicious
not a
actors now, yeah.
yeah, it's like not an argument against it. It's not a real argument against it. We know Arcanine can do it. We know they can do it with the was it Tom system that's in Arcanine. I wonder if like that means like One Piece and Dragon Ball. I doubt they use Tom though. They have to be using a
No.
different thing. So the question is, when is TPCI going to approve it to be turned on during Pokemon tournaments? More so than anything at this point. The question, I guess, what are they waiting for?
Well, they might not be waiting for much, right? Because Dana just hinted that it's been used for the Winter Online Professor Cup. So like it's
Okay.
been used for something Pokemon related. Not super unrecently? In fr Wow, I don't know what word should go there. I just I just about lost it, man. All
Yeah.
right.
I mean, yeah, so maybe we'll see it for Birmingham and San Antonio. I had assumed they'd wanna
Well,
test
I
it out
don't
first.
they probably would have announced it if it was gonna happen for one of those tournaments by now,
No, they don't
I
need
would
to announce, it's not that
think.
big of a deal. Is someone not gonna go to San Antonio because you have online pairings? Actually, there might be someone who's got a big enough tinfoil hat who would, like, not go to a Pokemon tournament because you can report your pairings on RK9. I guess it is technically possible. But, yeah, I don't think it's something that needs to be announced, like, super far ahead of time. And if I guess if they were gonna test it out, they would probably start with an American event. It feels like that's generally how these things go, so maybe San
Oh,
Antonio will be the first
I get
tournament, or maybe EUIC. Maybe they'll do it
what
at the also, I think the biggest thing with this as well, and I think I've mentioned this before, is this theoretically frees up more staff to maybe make the tournaments bigger, to have enough staff for bigger tournaments because we don't have as many people printing pairings, cutting up pairings, going out and laying out pairings. I would assume that
scanning
would
in
lead
match
to
slips.
yeah, exactly. I would have to assume that this leads to a more efficiently ran tournament for the current amount of staff they're bringing to tournaments, which should lead to more staff being available to make a bigger tournament. So it just kind of all feeds into the progression of uh, the growth of the game. So yeah, I just question is not if, the question is when, and none of the arguments for why not are actual like real arguments. They're all like I don't know even I don't even know what to call them. They're fake. They're fake arguments.
Well, it was one of the things on our 2025 wish list, so hopefully
Yeah.
it comes early in 2025.